Well, the Blue Crabs testing 1, 2, 3. Well, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs split the 4-game set with the Charleston Dirty Birds in Charleston, West Virginia, and the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs now return to Regency Furniture Stadium for their last regular season homestand as they take on the Lancaster Barnstormers for a 3-game set. Well, we are glad you could join us this evening as Mitch Lamson will take the mound for Southern Maryland as he takes on the Lancaster Barnstormers again in game 1 of a 3-game set. Let's run you through the lineup and run you through a couple of recent starts from Mitch Lamson, as Melvin Mercedes will get things going for the Barnstormers. This is a Barnstormers team, 62-54, 33-17 in the second half. A 4-game lead over the Blue Crabs in the second half. First pitch now from Lamson. A little bit low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. It's Melvin Mercedes who leads things off for Lancaster. Trayvon Robinson, the 2-hitter, and the 1-0 pitch. That's in there for a called strike on the outer half. And Freddie Cordero bats third. Batting fourth, it's the catcher, Colton Shaver. The shortstop, Anderson Feliz, bats fifth. Anthony Peroni bats sixth. And the 1-1 pitch, a bunt, and it gets by Mercedes and a called strike by the home plate umpire, Jim Clayton. Chris Proctor bats seventh. He's in right field. Jacob Barfield, the left fielder, he bats eighth. And Trace Allaire is at third base. He bats ninth. And the 1-2 pitch. Lamson buries it. And the count 2-2 as it was low and in on Mercedes. Around the diamond defensively, Jack Sundberg in left. Zach Collier in center. Braxton Lee back in right field. Hibbert played last night, not in the lineup tonight. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Mitch Lamson went away for the strikeout. Induces a swing and a miss from Melvin Mercedes, the righty, and there's one away in the top of the first inning. Mitch Lamson 7-8 on the season, a 3.75 ERA entering play tonight. But he has just a 0.87 ERA across his last 4 starts during the month of August. 31 innings pitched over 4 starts, averaging nearly 8 innings a contest. A whip of 0.71 in those 4 outings. First pitch to Trayvon Robinson is away in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Last time out, 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs. Pitch, ground ball foul, third base side, and the count 1-1. Funny enough, Mitch Lamson ran into trouble in the first inning of that last game, allowed 2 base runners and threw 30 pitches, threw 51 pitches across the first 2 innings, yet still managed to go 8 innings, allowing just 2 runs and 2 walks, or 2 hits and 2 walks, no runs, I should say. And the pitch, foul back, the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the first inning. So Melvin Mercedes struck out. Trayvon Robinson at the plate. Andretti Cordero on deck. And the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back punch-outs from Mitch Lamson. He gets Mercedes swinging. He gets Trayvon Robinson to swing and miss at a breaking ball low and out of the zone. It might have been that slider. We talked with Mitch Lamson last Saturday, and he said that he worked with Blue Crabs pitching coach Darryl Thompson to add a 4th pitch to his repertoire. Has always had the fastball, always had the changeup, always had the curveball, but he's added a slider to his repertoire. It's his 4th pitch. And the first pitch to Andretti Cordero. Called strike on the inner half, and the count 0-1. Cordero at first base tonight. A .337 hitter with 14 homers. Pitch, swing and a miss. He goes off speed after the fastball. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. An opportunity for Mitch Lamson to strike out the side here in the top of the first inning. Lamson set of the chest. Here is the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball low and away, count 1-2. We brought you around the outfield defensively for the Blue Crabs. In the infield, Crosby at third, Baca at shortstop, Yetzko at second base. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, rather deep to left center field. This one back, and it is off the wall in left center. A 2-out double for Cordero as it one hops the wall. Collier got to it rather quickly and fired back into the infield. Well, it is a 2-out double to left center, and there's a runner on second base with 2 outs. So right when Mitch Lamson looked like he was going to put together a 1-2-3 inning, striking out the side, well, he had a pair of strikeouts and now allows a 2-out double to Andretti Cordero. Here is Colton Shaver, the catcher. And the runner takes off. Lamson looks back and he realizes that he's already gone. Andretti Cordero left early and he still steals third base without a throw. I'm surprised no one said anything. I would have thought Baco or Crosby or Yetzko, someone to yell to let him know, throw to third, that he's going. And the 0-1 pitch, well, the first pitch to Colton Shaver is in there for a called strike. Now the count is 0-1 on the righty. So a double that he turns into a triple with the stolen base, and the 0-1 pitch a little low and away, count 1-1. So a runner in at third base, I should say, with 2 outs. We're going to get into the importance of this game and these games as a series. 1-1, check swing, did he go? Yeah, he did. And the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. There's no question that Mitch Lamson's been getting ahead in the counts. That hasn't been the issue. And the pitch, one hopper on the ground to short. Long throw for Baca. It's high, but it's Walker who leaps, and he makes the catch and steps on the bag before Shaver gets there for the final out. Well, Mitch Lamson works around a 2-out double. He strikes out a pair at the end of the top of the first inning. It's the Blue Crabs nothing and the Barnstormers nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We go to the bottom of the first inning in a scoreless game between the Barnstormers and the Blue Crabs. Southern Maryland 4 games behind the Barnstormers in the Atlantic League North Division second half standings. And the Blue Crabs will send Jack Sundberg to the plate to get things going. We'll run you around the Blue Crabs starting lineup and the defensive alignment for the Lancaster Barnstormers. First pitch inside is Sundberg, and the count 1-0. Well, let's start with that starting lineup for the Blue Crabs. Jack Sundberg bats first. Michael Baca in the 2 spot. Braxton Lee bats third. David Harris is the cleanup hitter. And the 1-0 pitch low and in, count 2-0. Alex Crosby bats fifth. Zach Collier in the 6th spot. Joe DeLuca bats 7th. Jared Walker is the 8 hitter. And Ian Yetzko bats 9th. Here is the 2-0. Called strike on Sundberg in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now defensively for the Barnstormers, Jacob Barfield in left, Trayvon Robinson in center. It's Chris Proctor in right, and Trace Lair is at third base. 2-1 pitch. Up and away, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Anderson Police at second, Anderson Felice at short, Melvin Mercedes at second. The first baseman is Andretti Cordero. The count 3-1 on Jack Sundberg. The pitch called strike. That's on the outside corner. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes on the lefty. And Colton Shaver is doing the catching for Eric Manoa. The 3-2 pitch fouled off, third base side, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Manoa pitched in AA and in AAA at times this season. We've got a guy with a drum to our left. If you're wondering why there's loud banging going around, that's why. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Have more on Sundberg after this pitch. 3-2. Swinging a pop-up, foul territory, third base side. That one finds the seats. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes on the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Now, back to Jack Sundberg here. The lefty extended his on-base streak to 34 games with 2 outs in the 9th inning last night. Was 0 for 4, needed some help from some other guys in the lineup to get that 5th at-bat. Yetzko homered, which allowed him to come to the plate. Pitch on the ground foul, first base side. Yetzko didn't homer, and he was in the 8 spot. And Jack Sundberg would have never come to the plate. If he had gotten out, he would have been the second out. Falsetti was up next. Falsetti struck out. So there would be 2 outs. Falsetti would have been the 3rd out. So Sundberg never would have come to the plate, but instead, Jack Sundberg does get to the plate with 2 outs the 9th and works a walk to extend that on-base streak to 34 games. Pitch, line drive down the left field line. It is a foul ball. Just barely tailing foul. Jack Sundberg carried his bat about 70 feet to first base before he was called back. And that was the 8th pitch of the at-bat. We'll have 9 pitches to the leadoff man, Jack Sundberg. A little more on Eric Manoa, the starter for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Has played parts of 8 seasons in minor league baseball. Started with rookie ball in 2014. Played as high as AAA this year with Rochester, 3-2. Swinging a foul ball back behind his home plate. Eric Manoa, the older brother of Alec Manoa, who's currently in Major League Baseball. Alec Manoa has had a star-studded pair of years for the Toronto Blue Jays. This year, a 2.60 earned run average, and a 1.03 whip. Pitching swinging a ground ball over to second, fielding the backhand, the throw to first in time to get the speedy Sundberg. Melvin Mercedes executed that perfectly, had no room for error, and Jack Sundberg nearly sprinted out an infield single. Well, it took 11 pitches. Our pitch counter was a little behind here. 11 pitches to get the first out. Well, Eric Manoa works through the first at bat to Sundberg, and there is one away in the bottom of the first inning. Here comes Michael Baca, a .218 hitter who was 2 for 2 with a walk yesterday. Pitch popped up foul back behind home plate. One of only a couple players who really shined in last night's ball game. Now, there are a few games throughout the course of the season you look back on, that was a tough one. Did not look good across the board, and by and large, that's what happened last night, with really 2 exceptions. Michael Baca had 2 hits, and Ian Yetzko was 2 for 4 with a 2-run home run. Pitch, swing and a miss. The count 0-2. Raul Shah pinch hit for Michael Baca to get him some playing time late in the ball game. Raul Shah was 1 for 2. He did have a triple, but it was kind of a bloop triple down the first baseline. And count 0-2 now on Baca. Pitch called, strike 3, outside corner. Not much argument for Michael Baca as the home plate umpire in today's ball game, Jim Clayton, rings him up, and there are 2 away. And here comes Braxton Lee, hitting .312 on the season. A .313 hitter against the Barnstormers, just around his typical numbers. Last time these 2 teams played, Lee was still searching for that first home run ball. Pitch, that's a little away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. That was part of a 2-game series on the road. On July 26th and July 27th, with Game 3 rained out to be replayed on Sunday in the final game and the final day of the regular season. 1-0 pitch, that's away. Count 2-0. Blue Crabs will play, actually it's 2 on Friday. 2 games on September 16th, 1 on the 17th, 1 on the 18th to finish the regular season. 2-0 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball straight away center field. It's the center fielder, Trayvon Robinson, who moves in and now takes a step back and makes the catch for the final out. Well, at the end of 1 inning of play, this ball game remains scoreless. The Blue Crabs sent down in order. We go to the top of the second on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Oh, first pitch swinging from Anderson Felice, and he belts it foul down the first baseline, and the count 0-1. No score between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers in the top of the second inning under blue skies in Waldorf, Maryland. Pitch That's a little away. Count 1-1 Waldorf, the home of the Blue Crabs. It's right near La Plata, though, right on the road. If you go back maybe 2 minutes down the road, you find yourself in La Plata. Down 4-0-1 if you take the right out of the stadium. And the 1-1 pitch a little bit away, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Top of the second inning, the Lancaster Barnstormers in Southern Maryland for first of 3 games. 2-1 pitch, that's away, count 3-1. And so far, the Blue Crabs have had the Barnstormers' numbers. 2 teams have played 11 times, and the Blue Crabs have 11 wins. 3-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball over to shortstop. Fielded on the ground by Baca, a strong throw to first in plenty of time. And there is 1 away. Anderson Felice be followed by Anthony Peroni and Chris Proctor here in the inning. Peroni, the designated hitter tonight. I've seen him do some catching at times and seen him throughout this lineup, but the Blue Crabs come into this one at 77-39 as the first pitch is fouled back by Anthony Peroni. 77-39. You might be saying, oh, that's pretty darn good. And it is. There's no question about that. But I'd like to provide some context in just one moment. 0-1 delivery. Fouled off, first base side, and the count 0-2. You might be asking, well, how good is it? Well, if you're looking for an historical answer, all time, well, the Atlantic League best record ever is 95-45. Now, that's across 140 games. Pitch upstairs, and the count 1-2. Good for a .678 win percentage. Now, the Blue Crabs cannot get to 95 wins this year. It's not possible. But they don't play as many games, so you can't really put them on the same sphere there. The 1-2 pitch is low, count 2-2. But what can you do then? Well, the Blue Crabs have 17 games remaining now, or 16 games remaining, I should say. 16 games remaining. A 13-game road trip and 3 more games here at home. 2-2 pitch. Just a little away. Count 3-2 now on Peroni. Blue Crabs have 16 games left. If the Blue Crabs finish 13-3, which would net them a final record of 90-42, the Blue Crabs would have a .682 winning percentage, the best of all time in Atlantic League history. The 3-2 pitch fouled back, and the count remains 3-2 on Peroni. So, Southern Maryland certainly has their work cut out for them. It's not as though they haven't gone 13-2 at stretches this year. It's just it would require a terrific finish to the season. It didn't help with a loss last night. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, first base side. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now the Blue Crabs know what they have to do. Just actually doing it against some difficult teams, including this one right here, a Lancaster Barnstormers team that has the best record in the second half overall. 3-2 pitch. Oh, it's ball 4. Very, very close. It's the 8th pitch to Anthony Peroni. And just a little low, and Jim Clayton issues the walk to Anthony Peroni. It's ball 4, and there's a runner on first base with 1 out. Here comes Chris Proctor. So runner on first base with 1 out. That last pitch, let's just get a look at where our TrackMan put it. It was certainly low. It was out of the zone. Should have been ball 4, and it was ball 4. Here's the first pitch now to the 7-hitter, Chris Proctor, after Anthony Peroni walked. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball low and out of the zone. And the count 0-2. From here, it will be Jacob Barfield, and then Trace Lair. Lamson the 0-2. That's low and away. Gets away from the catcher DeLuca, and advancing from first to second. It's Anthony Peroni. Well, Chris Proctor, the designated hitter, hits .281 on the year. And he reached first on a walk from Mitch Lamson, who's thrown a lot of pitches, 33 pitches across the first inning and a third. It's too high if he wants to keep on pitching deep into ball games. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike three. It's his third strikeout of the game. Proctor down swinging, and there are two away. So 34 pitches to go an inning and two-thirds, an average of about 20 pitches per inning. Now the good news for the Blue Crabs is that the pitching staff is really getting there. The bullpen is getting very, very close to being where it needs to be healthy and ready to go here. And they've got three real pitchers they can go to, 7, 8, and 9, who are very, very reliable, including Patrick Baker, along with James Dykstra and Endris Briseño. Those are the 7, 8, and 9 guys that have to imagine pitch a little away in the count 1-0. Blue Crabs were debating as to whether or not to activate Dalton Geekie tonight off the disabled list. And the Blue Crabs decided, well, not quite ready. Tomorrow he should be set. One 0 pitch. Upstairs, count 2-0. So I think that Dalton Geekie is getting very, very close. And the Blue Crabs have also made a trade and picking up more pieces for that bullpen. And the 2-0 pitch, a called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Blue Crabs acquired Connor Law from the Staten Island Ferry Hawks to bolster that bullpen. 2-1 pitch, that's away. Count 3-1. And he's a player that Staten Island uses in all of their high leverage situations. So to add a fourth big piece to that bullpen, and not even to mention guys like Geekie and Latos, who are also going to play a major role, it gives your bullpen a real opportunity to shine even when the starting pitcher might have struggled. Gives your team a really good chance, 7th, 8th, and 9th. 3-1 pitch, called a strike. It's 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner on second base. No score on the top of the second. Glad you could join us this evening. Lamson will throw his 40th pitch of the evening. Here's number 40. Swinging a ground ball foul over to the Blue Crabs dugout, and Ryan Haug reaches over the railing and grabs the baseball. It's a strong catch by the Blue Crabs catcher, who is currently out, but not to say that he won't be returning awfully soon. When I spoke with Blue Crabs manager Stan Clyburn today, I asked about the timetable for Ryan Haug, and he says he's close. He's close. And when I spoke with Haug last week, the goal was beginning of the road trip, if not middle. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, Haug's going to be coming back soon. Either way, Lamson continues to roll through the second inning. 2 innings of work. He's allowed just 1 hit, and he struck out 4. The Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers remain scoreless as we go to the bottom of the second. Well, the first pitch is away to David Harris, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on the righty. As the Blue Crabs send 4, 5, and 6 to the plate in the bottom of the second inning against Eric Manoah. And the first pitch called strike, count 1 ball and 1 strike on the righty. Base paths empty for the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the second inning. And the 1-1 pitch on the ground over to shortstop. It's fielded by Anderson Feliz. He fires to first in plenty of time to get David Harris. And there is one away. David Harris still nursing that hip injury a little bit. And here comes Alex Crosby, the Blue Crabs' third baseman. As Southern Maryland has gone 4 up and 4 down against the Lancaster righty. Oh, Blue Crabs bats have been awfully quiet recently, with a couple of exceptions. Blue Crabs lost 9-4 last night. And the pitch. That's inside, count 1-0. Alex Crosby has hits in 12 of his last 14, went 0 for 4 last night. Blue Crabs got a 2-run shot out of Ian Yetzko, who's got a 4-game hit streak going. And the 1-0 on the ground, hit the high chopper over to first base. It's fielded by Cordero, the flip to the pitcher covering Eric Manoah, and there are 2 away as he wins the race to the bag. And here comes Zach Collier. Couple of groundouts to get things started here in the second inning. Eric Manoah has been good, kept the pitch count down as well through an inning and 2/3. Manoah has thrown just 22 pitches despite the 11 pitch at bat to get things started against Jack Sundberg. So he's thrown just 11 pitches across the last 4 batters. Pitch called strike on Zach Collier, count 0-1. And these are numbers that are similar to what Butler produced over the course of an entire season, granted. So that was so impressive about what Eddie Butler did in 2013. We'll get there in a moment. 0-1 pitch, foul ball back behind home plate, count 0-2. We're across 150 innings. Eddie Butler threw an average less than 10 pitches per inning in 2013 across A-ball, high A, and double A before getting the call the next year. And the pitch upstairs, count 1-2. Or I beg your pardon, that was 2012. Made his debut in 2013. Well, Zach Collier digs in. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs on the lefty. And the 1-2. Up and away, count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. No score here in the bottom of the second pitch. Ground ball over towards shortstop. Back up to the middle. Fielded by Feliz. The throw to first. In time to get Collier by a half step. Pair of ground outs to short here in the second inning. But again, a 1-2-3 inning for Eric Manoah. 6 up and 6 down for the righty from the Barnstormers. We're done with 2. There's no score from the Reg in Waldorf. Stick with us, though, as we honor those missing in action.
Never forget, thank you.
Premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service. Well, Trace Lair steps in as we are underway here in the third inning between the Barnstormers and the Blue Crabs. Glad to have you with us for the final home series of the year in the regular season. The first pitch is a called strike, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, nobody out, and the 0-1 delivery. A breaking ball, called strike, count 0-2. Well, the sun's starting to set a little bit earlier. The shadows have fully encompassed the field here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Pitch low in the count. No, 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Trace Lair. It's kind of crazy to think the summer is starting to go, and that we're already to the end of a baseball season here into September. Labor Day on Monday. And the 1-2 pitch on the ground to shortstop. Baca fields and fires in time. And there's 1 away. And despite the high pitch count for Mitch Lamson, when I say it's a high pitch count, it really is. It's no joke. He's thrown 45 pitches across 2 1/3 innings. It's kind of crazy to think that he's thrown 2 1/3 innings. He's allowed just 1 hit and 1 walk in this ball game, and he's still thrown those 45 pitches. So gives you an idea of just how rare it is to see something like that, where he's allowed 1 base runner in each inning. Once a double. The other time, this ball slowly on the ground over to third, fielded by Crosby. It throws up the line. It's going to get by DeLuca. A base hit on a bunt from Melvin Mercedes. Well, there's your base runner here in the top of the third. I have to see what the call is on that. It's going to be a base hit. That's what I think the right call is. Melvin Mercedes with a single down the third baseline. Crosby tried to force the throw. It was a good decision. You want to try to make that play if you can. And the ball ended up deflecting into the bullpen. There was no way they were going to get anything as the catcher, Joe DeLuca, was backing things up. Trayvon Robinson digs in with a runner on first base and 1 out. No score here from the Reg in Waldorf, top of the third inning. For the Barnstormers, no runs on 2 hits. For the Blue Crabs, no runs on no hits and no base runners either against Eric Manoah. 6 up and 6 down from the righty. Here's the first pitch from the lefty Lamson. Line drive into left field. This one falls for a base hit. Sundberg quickly to the ball, and he's going to hold Melvin Mercedes at second base. 2 on and 1 out. And here comes Andretti Cordero with a runner on first and second and 1 out. Andretti Cordero singled his first time up. He was the only player, doubled his first time up actually. He was the only player first time around the lineup that got a hit as he doubled. And the first pitch, that's low and away, count 1-0. Cordero doubled to the wall in the left. And now the Barnstormers have 2 on and 1 out. 3 hits already for the Barnstormers. That's more hits than Lamson allowed his entire time on the mound across 8 innings last time out. And the 1-0 pitch a little low and away, count 2-0. 4 base runners is equal to the number of base runners he allowed across 8 innings. Lamson closes in on 50 pitches. This will be number 50 from the lefty. 2 on and 1 out. No runs in yet, but the Barnstormers threatening. Pitch, ground ball foul slowly. First base side, count 2-1. Well, the Blue Crabs rotation is by and large very, very consistent. Blue Crabs got a rare poor performance from their second starter, Alex Marathieu, last time out. He had an ERA of 3.60 coming in. 6 consecutive quality starts. This one swinging a line drive, right center field, long run for Collier. He makes the catch on the run for the second out. Tagging from second to third, it's Melvin Mercedes. And so there is a runner on third base with 2 outs following the fly out to center field. So Marathieu allowed 8 runs, 6 earned across 5 1/3 yesterday. That was after 6 consecutive quality starts. Become one of the Blue Crabs' really best pitchers on this staff, but he had a tough one. Lamson struggled mightily across the month of July and had the most dominant August of any pitcher in the entire Atlantic League. Darrell Thompson about as consistent as they come. He had a tough outing a couple of times back, but this most recent outing, 7 innings, allowed just 5 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and a complete game shutout. Pitch to Colton Shaver will wait as Mitch Lamson tosses over to first base. Darrell Thompson will start tomorrow as it is bobblehead night here at the Reg in Waldorf. Marathieu set. First pitch to Shaver. That's away. Mercedes and Robinson both struck out their first times up. They both get base hits their second time up. Andretti Cordero doubled his first time up. He flies out this time. And Colton Shaver grounded out his first time up. Let's hope the Blue Crabs don't get a repeat of the opposite the second time up that they did the first time. Pitch, ground ball. Terrific snag by Lamson on the mound. He tosses to first. A 1-3 putout to end the top of the third inning. That ball might have been headed up the middle, but a terrific job fielding his position by Mitch Lamson, and that ends the top of the third inning. Well, the Barnstormers threaten with 2 hits. They strand 2 at the end of 2.5. It's the Blue Crabs nothing, and the Barnstormers nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We go to the bottom of the third inning at Regency Furniture Stadium. No score. The Blue Crabs have not had a base runner across the first 2 innings. And now here in the bottom of the third, lead off with Joe DeLuca. First pitch, it's low and in, and the count 1-0. DeLuca hitting .279 on the season, one of the more consistent hitters for the Blue Crabs. And the 1-0. Way ahead of a breaking ball in the count. 1 ball and 1 strike now. Well, Joe DeLuca has been splitting time with Ryan Haug, or was earlier, and Haug then went down with injury, and DeLuca was out for a month, and so was Mike Falsetti, who was getting a lot of the catching opportunities, and DeLuca's been in the lineup virtually every day, splitting time with Falsetti, and when Falsetti's in, he's at first base, swinging a line drive. This one well hit toward the right center, but the center fielder, Trayvon Robinson, tracks it down, and there is one away in the bottom of the third. Very well struck off the bat of DeLuca. Just ended up hanging up a little too long. And there is one away in the bottom of the third inning. Here comes Jared Walker. He'll be followed by Ian Yetzko. Ian Yetzko working on shortening his swing a little bit, and it certainly worked out last night, hitting a 2-run home run in the top of the 9th inning. Unfortunately for the Blue Crabs, it was far too little too late as they lost 9-4, trailed 9-2 going into the 9th. Showed the offense at least had a bit of a spark, and the pitch, that's away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Looked pretty close, but Jim Clayton not about to call that a strike, and the count 1-0. One ball and no strikes, 1 out in the bottom of the third inning as we hit 7:30 on the East Coast. 1-0 pitch, hard ground ball, first base side foul. Well, Eric Manoah has been outstanding to get things started across the first 2 1/3. Just 1 strikeout, but weak contact and ground balls almost exclusively. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hard ground ball foul. First base side in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. No score in the bottom of the third inning here in Waldorf, Maryland, as Jared Walker, the first baseman, steps back in. Walker's gotten a couple of days off more recently with Falsetti catching and the Blue Crabs moving DeLuca to first base. So we're starting to see a glimpse of what things might look like once Haug returns. As the 1-2 pitch fouled back and the count remains 1-2. I'd have to imagine that Haug becomes the primary catcher and that DeLuca will be shifted over to first base for the most part. DeLuca's done a pretty good job, all things considered, behind the plate. It's his bat that really stands out, though. 1-2 delivery, swing and a foul tip. And he stays alive as the count remains 1-2. A tough break for Ian Yetzko, who I think has earned himself some at-bats down the road. But with Michael Wolanski returning to the lineup any day now, it at least seems as though Ian Yetzko is going to have fewer at-bats. But he really has made the most of them. Batting average up to .265. 5 home runs on the year. A lot of very hard hit line drives. 1-2. That's away. Count 2-2 to Walker. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat to the lefty. This will be number 7. Yeah, the first pitch that was called a ball, our track man had it right down the middle. Well, what are you going to do? I said it was a little outside. I was honestly not quite sure where it missed. I guessed outside. It had it middle. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball foul, first base side. It might have been a little high. I guess it was middle up in the zone, but it was very, very clearly in the zone. It was very clearly middle, too. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. as Walker taps home plate twice. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Just the second strikeout for Eric Manoah tonight, but it's 8 up and 8 down for the righty. Took 8 pitches to retire Walker. It took 11 to get Sundberg. The other 6 batters he's retired across just 18 pitches. It's extremely impressive what Manoah's been able to do this evening across just 38 total pitches. And this one. Yetzko, first pitch foul back. And the count 0-1. Yetzko homered in his last at-bat last night. That was in Charleston. The Blue Crabs had a 6-hour bus ride home. It was about 6 and change. Bus left the ballpark at 11. We took a quick pit stop at a gas station to pick up some snacks on the way home. And the 0-1 pitch upstairs. Count 1-1. The bus left Charleston at 11:30 p.m. Arrived back at the reg this morning around 5:45 a.m. And it's 6:30 tonight, back in action. 1-1 pitch, low and in, and the count 2-1. Can tell you not everybody was thrilled about the late start time on the getaway day from Charleston. You think maybe you get a 2 o'clock start time, game over at 5, get home that night, sleep at home. Not the case. 2-1 pitch, that's upstairs, count 3-1 now on Yetzko. Really the only day games at all throughout the course of the season are Sunday games. And the rare Monday games on Memorial Day. And on the pitch, that's a swing and a miss on July 4th. And the count 3-2 now on Yetzko as he was ahead of the breaking ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs on Ian Yetzko. Manoah the 3-2. Swinging a ground ball over to shortstop. This should do it. Anderson Felice fields between the legs. He fires to first. Throw is offline, but Cordero fields and swipe tags Yetzko for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs go down in order once again. It's 9 up and 9 down from Eric Manoah across just 44 pitches. The end of 3, still no score at the reg in Waldorf. Well, we are underway in the top of the fourth. First pitch called strike on Anderson Felice. Well, the Blue Crabs 9 up and 9 down, 0-1 pitch. It's a foul tip, and the count 0-2 on Anderson Felice. Here's the pitch. That's away. And the count 1-2. And the 2-1 pitch, line drive down the third base line, foul, and the count 2-2. Or 1-2 it remains, I should say. One ball, 2 strikes on Anderson Felice, who's 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Barnstormers had their best chance back in the third inning with back-to-back hits from Melvin Mercedes on a bunt and Trayvon Robinson on a line drive to left. Could not get the run home, though, as a fly out from Andretti Cordero and a ground out from Colton Shaver ended the inning. 1-2 pitch from Lamson. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 5th strikeout from the lefty, and there's one away in the 4th. 3 1/3 so far from Mitch Lamson. The pitch count up to 58 from the lefty, and he went 134 his last time out. As he last pitched on Saturday, we interviewed him on Sunday. So it's been 5 days, 5 off days, and then pitching on the 6th day. And the pitch. That's a called strike. Count 0-1. The Blue Crabs didn't want to rush things and go with Thompson and Herrera game 1 of that 1 and 2 in the doubleheader, and then go to Merrithew and Lamson 3 and 4. So they went with Cook and Thompson, and then Herrera and Merrithew and Lamson tonight, Thompson again tomorrow, and Butler to go on Sunday. And the pitch, that's outside, count 1-1. Blue Crabs swept York, split in Charleston. Winners of 5 of the last 7. Pitch, one hopper, hard hit over to Crosby at third. Throw to first is in time as Walker stretches toward the outfield side of first, and there are 2 away.
Now batting right fielder number 42, Chris Proctor.
Two away in the top of the 4th inning. Blue Crabs nothing, and the Barnstormers nothing. And the pitch. It's low. Count 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Pitch. That's low. Count 2-0. Two-0 pitch, called strike. That comes in at the knees. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike now. Here's the 2-1. That's a called strike. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. On Chris Proctor. Lefty-lefty matchup, 2-2 pitch to Proctor. Swinging a ground ball foul, first base side, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, it is Field of Dreams Day. The iconic movie Field of Dreams with the corn in the outfield. 2-2 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, rather deep to center field. Collier drifts back a few steps and makes the catch for the final out. When we come back, we'll give you a little more information on the Field of Dreams, the movie that the Blue Crabs are working with tonight. When we come back, it's the bottom of the fourth inning, still no score from the Reg in Waldorf.
This is Darryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Jack Sundberg digs in from the left side. The first pitch to the lefties a little bit upstairs, looked awfully close. He certainly didn't go. I think that there was more of a petition for where did that miss. Maybe a little up and away. Looked pretty close though on the count. 1 ball and no strikes. Eric Manoah has just thrown his 45th pitch across 3+ innings of work. Our trackman had it as a strike. And the pitch that's fouled off. Third base side. And the count 2-1. Or 1-1, I should say. 1 ball and 1 strike to the lefty who has a 34-game on-base streak going. Was extended from 33 to 34 in the top of the 9th inning last night with 2 outs. Sundberg was 0 for 4 until that point, had a bunt, and the pitch called strike, and the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the lefty. Sundberg to be followed by Baca and Lee. Here's the 1-2. Line drive foul. Left field side. That one headed toward the staircase and then toward the parking lot. Picnic deck awfully full out in left field on top of the mini monster. Solid group of fans in the lower bowl below. And the pitch, that's low, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sundberg worked an 11-pitch at bat his first time up. Ultimately grounded out to second base. This will be the 6th pitch from Eric Manoah. And the 2-2. Swinging a ground ball toward first, fielded by Aldredi Cordero, who steps on first base. And there is one away, ground out to third. And Manoah 10 up and 10 down as Baca comes to the plate. comes Michael Baca, will be followed by Braxton Lee here in the fourth. Eric Manoa, the starting pitcher for the Barnstormers. His brother is also pitching tonight, except for the Blue Jays. And the first pitch, called strike on Michael Baca, and the count 0-1. No balls, one strike, one out. And here is the pitch, low and away. Count 1-1. Well, Manoa, he's pitched incredibly well up until this point. I don't want to give you the idea that he hasn't. But the pitch count, considering somebody has not allowed a base runner up until this point, is remarkably high. 1-1. Swinging a ground ball. This one over to shortstop, and it goes under the glove of the shortstop, Anderson Feliz. It's going to be a base hit for Michael Baca, and a runner on first base with one out, as it would have been a bit of a tough play for Anderson Feliz. And with that, there goes the perfect game and the no-hitter for Eric Manoa, as that is the first hit of the day for Michael Baca. First hit of the day for the Blue Crabs comes from Michael Baca. Here's Braxton Lee. First pitch, line drive foul, base side. This one way back toward the parking lot, and the count 0-1. If the Blue Crabs can get the bats going consistently, and I think they're close to getting there with their full lineup intact, this could be a very, very good team, and a difficult team to beat down the stretch, and a difficult team to beat in the playoffs. And the pitch is up and away, and the count 1-1. But right now, it's tough to. The rotation is generally very good and very consistent. The bullpen getting their pieces back is going to be really, really strong. Pitch, that's inside, gets away from the catcher, Colton Shaver. From first to second, it's Baca, takes a long turn. And there is a runner on second base with one out, and it was clear that Baca thought about going to third, but Shaver got there in time. Two balls, one strike, one out. A wild pitch against Eric Manoa. The count, 2 balls and a strike. And now the catcher, Colton Shaver, going to have a conversation with the pitcher, Eric Manoa. Runner in scoring position, just one out. And you've got 3 and 4 at the plate. And these two aren't merely power threats. And I don't even think of Lee as a power threat at all. But 3 and 4 in this order for the Blue Crabs are terrific contact hitters more than anything else. Lee hitting .312. And then David Harris, who's hitting .328, the two best batting averages in this order. Base hit should give the Blue Crabs the lead. Baca with good speed has the tied for second most stolen bases on this team. 2-1 pitch. It's fouled back, count 2-2. Not to mention that Alex Crosby bats fifth, and he's hitting .280. And it gets to the point in the lineup where you look up and down and you say, where is there really a hole in this lineup? And with somebody like Yetzko in the lineup and hitting as well as he has, it's hard to say there really is one. 2-2 pitch, swinging a miss on a foul ball, foul tip. Count remains 2-2, so he stays alive. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Braxton Lee, 0 for 1 today. Manoa, 2-2 pitch. That's up and away, count 3-2. You do have to wonder for someone like Eric Manoa, you retired 10 in a row, and now you start to face a little bit of trouble for the first time in this ball game. Is that going to have an effect on him? We'll have to see. He's thrown 57 pitches. Lamson threw 67 across 4 innings, but Manoah's only thrown 3 1/3. Either way, 1 hit allowed by Manoah, no walks for Lamson, 3 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 5. Manoah with just 2 Ks. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball over to first base. Terrific job fielding by Cordero. Manoah there to cover, and he falls down. Now Baca thinking about going, and let's see, he's going to be called safe at first base. Oh, I don't know exactly what happened there, but he was called safe at first after the throw from the first baseman Cordero back to the pitcher Manoah. Oh, I thought he was surely out at first base, but instead there are runners on the corners with 1 out. I guess it's a hit, but I'm also not sure what happened there. I'm honestly totally lost as to why he was safe. It's like Ross Peoples might want to at least talk about it. So the ball fell out of his glove as he stepped on first base, so he completely lost control of it. And as he lost control of it, Braxton Lee called safe at first base. It looks like it's going to be an error on Manoah as he tripped and fell over the bag. And E1 against Manoah. And there are runners on the corners now with 1 out for David Harris. First pitch to the righty, swing and a miss. That one was buried low in the dirt in the count. No balls and 1 strike. This is a point in a ball game where typically a run in the 4th inning is not all that important. But in a game where it's scoreless, and you've got Mitch Lamson going, the pitch, swinging a ground ball. Oh, a terrific stop at second, on to short for 1, back on to first, a double play. 4-6-3 in style. How about that one? And the Barnstormers work out of trouble in the bottom of the 4th. Oh, the Blue Crabs had runners on the corners and 1 out. They couldn't come through on a heck of a double play by the Barnstormers. That one looked tailor-made up the middle. It was not. We go to the top of the 5th. This one still scoreless on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
go.
Apologize, a little late getting back here in the top of the 5th inning. 1-1 pitch is now fouled back in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jacob Barfield. Will be Barfield followed by Lair and Mercedes. 8, 9, and 1 in the top of the 5th. And the 1-2. Swinging a foul ball off the inside of his right knee. That one's not going to be comfortable. And the count 1-2. Merrithew's thrown 72 pitches. Or 71 pitches, I should say. This will be number 72. Across 4, I beg your pardon, Lamson. I said Merrithew there. Lamson has thrown 71 pitches. Merrithew went yesterday. Lamson going tonight. Lamson's thrown 71 pitches across 4+ innings of work. You do have to wonder what the pitch count is today based on the way he's throwing. If he can keep this up, I don't think the Blue Crabs are going to be interested in removing him from the ball game. 1-2 pitch. It's low, and the count 2-2. At least not before 6 or 7 innings, that is. And if you can get him to go 6 and continue to throw like this, 2-2 is up and in. Now it's 3-2. So that's the issue. Can he continue to pitch the way he did in the first 4 innings? Can he hold Lancaster off the board? If he can do that through 6, you can go to Baker, Dykstra, and Briseño 7, 8, 9. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, belted foul territory, back toward the parking lot, and the count remains 3-2. No score between the Barnstormers and the Blue Crabs here in the top of the 5th. Count 3-2 on Barfield. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. 3-2 from Lamson. Swing and a high pop-up. Third base side, Crosby under it, he makes the catch. And there is 1 away. That's 6th in a row retired now from Mitchell Lamson, dating back to the 3rd inning. As Trace Lair comes to the plate. No runs on 3 hits and a walk from Lamson for Alec Manoah. Manoah has allowed no runs on 1 hit and no walks, just 2 strikeouts. Lamson has 5. First pitch low and away, and the count 1-0 on Lair. After going 134 last time around, I don't see him going 134 this time around, but I didn't think I'd see 134 last time around, so you never really know what you're going to see, I guess. Pitch, called strike, count 1-1. Tonight, 77 pitches, 49 strikes. It's about just over 60% strikes, which is decent. It's not great. You probably want maybe a tick higher. And the 1-1 a little low, count 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Called strike, count 2-2. Only hit for the Blue Crabs was Baca, who singled earlier in this one. Pitch, fly ball, foul. First base side finds the seats, and the count remains 2-2 on Trace Lair. A single for Michael Baca on a ground ball towards shortstop into left field. From there, a ground ball to the first base side, and Braxton Lee reaches on an error by the pitcher, Eric Manoah. His brother Alec also in progress in Toronto. Let's give you some scores from around the Atlantic League after the 2-2. Pitch, low and away, count 3-2 now. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat. 1-0 Gastonia leads Wild Health in the top of the 7th inning. That ball game is flying along. In the top of the 4th, it's Charleston and Lexington who are level at 5. High Point over York 6-3, and Staten Island and Long Island level at 1. Pitch. Oh, it's ball 4. Awfully close, but Mitch Lamson doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. Was an 8-pitch at bat to Jacob Barfield the at-bat prior to this one, a 7-pitch at bat, and he falls in a walk. And when you've already thrown 82 pitches across 4 1/3, and every pitch counts. Now, Marathon can only go so deep. I mean, even if he finishes 5 innings, Lamson can only go so deep. I beg your pardon. I called him Marathon a few times tonight. And Marathon went last night, and he also goes pretty deep. But Lamson can only go so deep. I'm not sure why I mixed them up. I guess because Mitch starts with M for Lamson, and Marathon, of course, starts with M. And the pitch is outside, count 1-0. Mitch Lamson can only go so deep. He may have gone 134 last time, but if he's going 83 pitches already as the first pitch is away to Melvin Mercedes, how long is it going to take him for him to get through 5? You know, is it going to be 90 pitches? Is it going to be 100 pitches? 1-1 pitch. That's a called strike, and the count 1-1. That was pitch number 84 to Melvin Mercedes. It's going to be more than 100. And then at that point, if you find yourself finished with 5 at 100 pitches, does Mitch Lamson go back for the 6th? I'd have to imagine yes, but it's tough to say. 1-1 pitch, low and away, count 2-1. Considering Mitch Lamson went 8 innings and 134 pitches in his last outing, it seems logical that 100 would not be the conclusion. No action in the Blue Crabs bullpen either. Here's Lamson, pitch number 86. That's low, and the count 3-1. And I'd have to think if he walks this batter, I'd expect some sort of meeting at the mound from Darryl Thompson and company. At that point, you've walked 2 batters, the pitch count getting high, you're in the 5th inning. You need to get some outs, still a scoreless ball game. A lot on the line, despite the fact that the score might say otherwise. 3-1, it's low and in, count, or that's ball 4, I should say. And back-to-back walks from Mitch Lamson, who's now allowed 3 hits and 3 walks across 4 1/3. Are we not going to see a meeting in the mound? I'm honestly a little surprised. I know you're limited for how many visits you can have at the mound, but this seems like a case where you want to knock it out before it gets any worse. Stop the problem before you find yourself with a run in and the bases still loaded and 1 out. Now runners on first and second for now for Trayvon Robinson, who takes a called strike at the knees, and the count 0-1. That was pitch number 88 from Mitch Lamson. And the pitch. Swinging a line drive over the glove of Baca into left center. It's a base hit. 1 run scores. Collier has trouble with it. It's an RBI single for Trayvon Robinson. And the Barnstormers have a 1-0 lead in the top of the 5th inning. Back-to-back walks come back to cost Mitch Lamson as Trey Slayer scores from second. Melvin Mercedes from first to third. And it's an RBI single for Trayvon Robinson. And it's the Barnstormers who are still threatening here. Well, we mentioned it just moments ago. Maybe it's time to have a meeting at the mound. The decision was not to take that meeting at the mound and let Lamson keep on going out there, and he allows an RBI single right on cue. And Lamson tosses over to first base for Andretti Cordero. I mean, normally you might want to be aggressive in a situation like this, but when you've got Cordero and Shaver coming to the plate with still 2 on and 1 out, 1 run in already, might not need to be all that aggressive. Pitch, ground ball, hard hit over to the Lancaster bullpen, Lancaster dugout, I should say. And the count now, no balls and a strike on Cordero, but that takes the wind out of the sails of the Blue Crabs as they surrender to the first run here in the top of the 5th inning. Considering the Blue Crabs' bats have been awfully quiet to start things here in the 5th. Tossing over to first again. Lamson 90 pitches, 55 strikes. Again, not quite enough strikes. Too many walks here. Back-to-back walks and a single where 3 straight batters have reached. And the 0-1. Check swing. Did he go? Did he swing? He did not swing. Well, the question as to whether or not he swung and then whether or not it hit him as well, which is somehow also a question. So he was hit by the pitch and he did not swing, I guess. So now their bases are loaded with a run in. I might have, I'm not someone who likes to say, well, I just said this or just told this so, but the runner's on first and second and 1 out, and I said maybe it's time to have a conversation with Lamson before things start to spiral and before there's a run in and the bases loaded, and well, there's a run in and the bases are loaded, and there's still 1 out, and 4 consecutive batters have reached, and it looks like nothing's going on right now, as there's no action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. There's also no meeting at the mound, and this is slightly concerning to say the least for the Blue Crabs, that Lamson seems to have lost the strike zone. He's walked or hit 3 of the last 4 batters. 4 consecutive have reached. It's 1-0 in the 5th. And now here comes Colton Shaver. I would have thought there'd be a meeting by now, but still nothing. 4 consecutive batters reaching, and doesn't seem like there's much urgency to check on Lamson. Pitch. First pitch strike on Colton Shaver in the count 0-1. And Lamson finds himself in a major jam here in the top of the 5th. Infield is back because there's a force at every base. Be interested if it's a ground ball to first. Is the play to the plate? Is the play to second? Is the play to first? And now the pitch to Shaver is low in the count 1-1. It looks as though Lamson is exploring other options as far as his pitches. Instead of going to that fastball, he's working backwards with breaking balls. A 1-1, called strike, count 1-2 on Shaver. Lamson can find a way to work back in this inning. Get a strikeout or a ground out here from Shaver. Might just be able to survive through 5, but he's been hit around here and he's missed the zone in the 5th. Pitch, swinging a line drive toward left, long run. Jack Sundberg dives and makes a terrific catch. Scoring from third base, it's Melvin Mercedes. Sundberg steals a couple of runs out in left field. And there are 2 outs, but a 2-0 lead for the Lancaster Barnstormers as Jack Sundberg lays out for the 2nd out in the top of the 5th. Again, Melvin Mercedes does come home and score. And now runners on first and second for the Barnstormers with this 2-0 lead. Things have spiraled a little bit here for Mitch Lamson in the inning. It's 2-0. And what is a very long inning and what has been a tough inning for Mitch Lamson. I think we were talking about this earlier. Okay, if he's gone 5 innings and thrown 100 pitches, let's say, and he hasn't allowed a run, we can send him out for the 6th, maybe the 7th, depending on pitch count. But things start to change when, even if he gets out of this inning only having thrown 100 pitches, and only 100 pitches at this point. The first pitch misses up and away to Anderson Feliz. That's number 96. If he's thrown 100 at the end of 5 and you've allowed 2 runs, do you go in a different direction? And it's at least worth exploring. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, count 1-1. I think the idea tonight was to get him through 6 or 7 and then leave the door open for Dykstra and Baker and Briseño down the stretch, depending on who's needed. But, I mean, you might be able to get through 5 before you have that happen. 1-1 pitch, low and in, count 2-1. The other issue here, of course, is that the Blue Crabs have used basically everybody other than them. So once they're done, I'm not quite sure who's left. I mean, Dario Polanco's left, but you look at some other guys who haven't used recently. Pitch, that's away. Even guys like Cody Strayer aren't available. He went 2 and 2/3 yesterday. Go through the list of who is and who isn't. Patrick Baker's available tonight. Andres Briseño should be available tonight. Count 3-1, by the way, on Anderson Feliz. This will be pitch number 100 of the evening from Mitchell Lampson. Foul back. So Briseño is likely available. He was cleared 2 days ago, was given the off day yesterday with the idea that I talked to Andres yesterday, and Briseño told me, hey, one more day. So I didn't get confirmation today that he's good to go, but you'd have to think he's available. James Dykstra is available. Dalton Geeky not available. Matt Latos not available. Cody Strayer not available. Nick Wells presumably not available. And Dario Polanco is likely available. 3-2 pitch. That one fouled off first base side. Count remains 3-2, but we went through this list and we found 2 available, and we found 1 likely available and another one also likely. So 2 available, 2 definitely available, and 2 probably available. And among those 4, you do have 3 of your top 4 pitchers, which is very encouraging. But you still don't have a number of depth pieces in this bullpen who could pitch a 5th and leave you confident for the 6th, 7th, and 8th the score will hold. Pitch, line drive towards center field. This one is going to drop for a base hit. 1 run scores from second. Collier fires in. It's a 3-0 lead for the Barnstormers here in the top of the 5th. Well, we talked about things spiraling, and here comes Darryl Thompson with 3 runs already in and 2 on. And I mean, you got to be honest, you left sort of scratching your head asking why didn't this happen 5 batters ago? When there were runners on first and second after walking back-to-back batters, and it was still a scoreless ball game. I mean, I think that would probably have been a good time to have that conversation. After the Barnstormers had Lair and Mercedes walk, instead it's Anthony Peroni, the 6 hitter, who's coming to the plate, and they're having this meeting because he's allowed 3 runs and there's still 2 on base for Anthony Peroni. Even something quick, or something fast, trip to the mound, slow things down, take a deep breath, trying to get things sort of settled before Lampson goes to attack Trayvon Robinson, the 2-hitter. Not anymore. Now he's attacking the 6-hitter, Anthony Peroni. Well, here we are. It's 3-0 Barnstormers. You're definitely left scratching your head, but either way, this is pitch number 103 from Lampson, and this one is popped up, shallow center field. Michael Baca out onto the outfield grass. He makes the catch for the final out, but not before the Lancaster Barnstormers score 3 runs. We're halfway done at the Reg in Waldorf. It's 3-0 Barnstormers on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come stay at the Holiday Inn Express Waldorf, where teamwork makes the dream work. A proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and your home away from home. The Holiday Inn Express is located at 11,370 Days Court. That's 11370 Days Court, Waldorf, near the Waldorf Shoppers World Shopping Center. Call 301-932-9200 to make a reservation or look us up at ihg.com or on the IHG app. Come put your feet up and enjoy the complimentary free breakfast and indoor heated pool at the Holiday Inn Express, Waldorf.
Well, Alex Crosby comes to the plate. The Blue Crabs now find themselves behind the 8 ball in a major way as they trail 3-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Darrell Thompson might have waited a little long to go and have a visit on the mound. Either way, it's 3-0 Barnstormers, and Alex Crosby takes ball 1 upstairs in the count 1-0. Well, Southern Maryland certainly in some trouble here. They have just 1 hit on the day. Pitch, that's a little away. And the count 2-0 now on Crosby. You need base runners. You need to find a way to solve Eric Manoah here, who's been really, really good through 4 innings. Pitch up and away. The count 3-0. I think at this point it's proved you can throw a strike after a 20-minute layoff. Velocity down a touch from Manoah, 3-0. It's a called strike. Alex Crosby dropped the bat. He thought it was ball 4. He now has to pick the bat up and face another pitch. Just barely clipped the outside corner that time around, and the count 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th. 3-1 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, shallow center field. Oh, Crosby thought he had a walk. Instead, it's a lazy fly out to center field as Trayvon Robinson makes the catch right around shoulder high, and there's 1 away. 1 out, and here comes Zach Collier, 5, 6, and 7 in the Blue Crabs batting order in an offense that has been starved, to say the least. I mean, there were runners on the corners with 1 out in the 4th, and David Harris grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. And don't get me wrong, it was a terrific defensive play. That ball could have gone up the middle. The Blue Crabs could have had first and second with 1 out, but they do not. Pitch, called strike. And the count 0-1 on Collier. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. 3-0 Barnstormers in the bottom of the 5th. Pitch popped it up, third base side. It's in foul territory, long run. This one finds the second row of seats. And the count 0-2. 3-0 Lancaster over Southern Maryland. Things have unfortunately gone sideways for the Blue Crabs. Blue Crabs and this pitching staff this evening, and then it raises just a whole host of new questions. As the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball low in the dirt, and Collier's fans and misses, and that is 2 away. You know, this has been a game where it just sort of feels like a gut punch at a couple of different points. Just when the Blue Crabs look like they've got some offense going. In the 4th inning, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Double play ball on an incredible defensive play. Well, the score's still 0-0. You know, you're all right. In the 5th inning, you got 1 out, and they're 2 on, but you think, you know what, Lamson can settle down. All of a sudden, 3 runs are in, it's 3-0. You start at the bottom of the 5th inning, 3-0 count. Maybe Crosby walks, starts a rally. You got a strike, a fly out, and a strikeout, 2 away. It's been the kind of ball game it's been. First pitch to DeLuca, low and in, count 1-0, 3-0. Barnstormers over the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the 5th. You look down at the standings, you look down at the schedule, and what's left for the Blue Crabs. 1-0 pitch, that's low, count 2-0. And you say, okay, you know, what do the Blue Crabs have to do from here on out to make a push either for the best record in Atlantic League history, for, you know, get back in this playoff race in the North Division? And you look at it and you say, you know, they need to do a lot of things right here toward the end of the season. And the 2-0 pitch is bouncing in front of home plate, count 3-0. And so when you look at it from that perspective, what the Blue Crabs need to do here. There's not all that much room for error if this team wants to come back and make the playoffs. You have 16 games to go. You are playing the team that you trail by 4 games right now. You do have 6 more games after this one left, but still not much room for error if you fall to 5 back. 3-0 pitch, called strike, count 3-1. You trail the Barnstormers by 4 games. 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss, count 3-2. Breaking ball low and out of the zone, and DeLuca fans on it. He'll be followed by Walker and Yetzko if necessary here in the inning. And this is what it looks like when this team just looks frustrated and out of sorts. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. DeLuca down on strikes. That ends the 5th inning. Eric Manoah is dealing. He's had a couple of deep counts. He's had a couple of 3-ball counts, but he continues to dominate the Blue Crabs at the end of 5 innings of play. The Barnstormers still lead by 3 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
On our picnic deck, Hughesville Baptist Church. The Camp Party Party.
Well, we are underway in the top of the 6th inning. It is the Blue Crabs who trail 3-0. And the first pitch from Mitch Lampson is a called strike on the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Faces off against Jacob Barfield to get things going. Barfield followed by Trace Lair. And the pitch, swing and a miss, count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. 3-0 Lancaster. As things, the wheels have sort of fallen off the bus here. And the pitch, that one's outside, and the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, Barfield on deck, I beg your pardon. Proctor at the plate. 3 runs scored in the top of the 5th. And the pitch, swinging a ground ball foul back behind home plate. Count 1-2. Well, let's get to some shout outs here, everybody. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. If you have your own trivia question tonight, let us know. Be happy to answer it on air. Should it be applicable or even somewhat applicable. Multi-Apple says great game, as he always said. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Here's the 2-2. This one swinging a high pop-up. And it's the shortstop. That's Michael Baca, who drifts back toward the outfield grass and makes the catch for the first out. The legend says, good afternoon, Crustacean Nation. Hope everyone is having a swell time at the game. Well, the legend, we're glad you commented. We're glad you're listening. John Higgs says, go Blue Crabs. Tammy Shipley says, go Crabs. Deborah says, let's go Blue Crabs. Susan H says, Austin, you must be tired. Susan, you're right. I am very tired. It was a long bus ride. I didn't get to bed till around 3 o'clock on the bus. Pitch, swinging a high pop-up shallow center field. Got back to bed around 6 a.m. this morning. And this one is a fly ball to shallow center. Collier's there, 2 up and 2 down. And got back up around 11 a.m. before I got back into work earlier this afternoon. Had to get the game notes and stat packs rolling, and here we are. More baseball right now. If you're also watching this evening and you'd like to comment in the YouTube chat, please go ahead and do so. And the pitch, foul back from Trace Lair, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. And the pitch, that's away, count 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Pitch on the ground toward first base, foul. Count 2-2. Trace Lair digs back in from the left side. Lair has a 4-game hit streak rolling. Back on July 16th, walked 9 times in 10 plate appearances. This one swinging a flare over to the right side. It's Yetzko who camps under it and makes the play for the final out, catching the low line drive, the looping line drive for the final out. Well, Lamson works through a pretty quick 1-2-3 top of the 6th inning after a very rocky 5th. He's now thrown 115 pitches across 6 innings of work. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Blue Crabs have their work cut out for them. They need to score 3 runs across the next 4 innings. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service.
Well, Blue Crabs send 8, 9, and 1 to the lineup in the bottom of the 6th inning. They trail by 3 as Eric Manoah back to the mound. He's thrown just 76 pitches across 5 innings. As Walker will be followed by Sundberg, or beg your pardon, by Yetzko and Sundberg, 8, 9, and 1. Sundberg 0 for 2 tonight. He does not have that. He has not reached base yet today, so not extended his 34-game on-base streak. As the 1-0 pitch, that's away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. So he extended his streak to 34 games yesterday with 2 outs in the 9th inning. I don't think he wants to wait that long tonight, but based on the way things are going, he might have to. 1-0 pitch called strike, count 1-1. The Blue Crabs, or Eric Manoah, I should say, has faced just 1 more than the minimum. Here's the 1-1. On the ground, first base side, foul on the count, 1-2. Blue Crabs had runners on the corners in the 4th inning with just 1 out when David Harris grounded into a double play. Blue Crabs, no runs on 1 hit through 5+ innings of work from Eric Manoah, who has been terrific thus far. One-two pitch. Swinging a line drive, shallow left center field, long run, but it's the shortstop. That's Anderson Feliz, who is in shallow left center and makes the catch. And there is 1 away. Hey, Manoah's been all right recently. I mean, nothing special by any means, really. Went 6 1/3 last time out, 4 runs, 3 earned, 5 hits. He did walk 4, and that's not been the case tonight. Not only can the Blue Crabs not get hits, they can't get on board via walks because Manoah hasn't walked a batter. He's gone 5 1/3, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, no walks. Pitch to Yetzko is swung on and tapped foul. Third base side, and the count 0-1. He's not throwing overly hard. His stuff looks decent, but it's just been bad contact all night long from Southern Maryland. Very consistent theme. Couple long at-bats. Sundberg has faced 18 pitches tonight in his 2 at-bats. 0-1 upstairs. Count 1-1. Sundberg's on deck, but by and large, this has not been the game the Blue Crabs would have hoped for after a 9-4 loss last night. 1-1. That's low. Count 2-1. Blue Crabs need base runners, and they need hits really right now. A home run would always be nice to come along with it, but things were really spiraling in the 5th inning. And the Blue Crabs, in many senses, are lucky they escaped, having only allowed 3 runs. 2-1 pitch, up and in, count 3-1 on Ian Yetzko. Was a little more patient at the plate than he's been recently. He's also, again, shortened that swing to try to avoid as many swings and misses. Still a very powerful cut. He went deep with it last night. 3-1 pitch, swinging a foul ball. Count 3-2 now on Yetzko, who's hitting .264 on the year, 0 for 1. It's Field of Dreams tonight. We mentioned this earlier, but the corn lines the outfield grass from the Education Systems Federal Credit Union sign all the way to the batter's eye from left to center. And the pitch. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. It's strike 3. It was either going to be a walk or a strikeout. Yetzko tried to hold back, but he went around on a defensive cut. And he did go around. I mean, that was a strikeout. They're 2 away now. And Jack Sundberg comes to the plate. Blue Crabs at risk of going down in order 1-2-3 yet again against Eric Manoah. who's only thrown 85 pitches. I mean, if this continues, things are really going to look tough for the Blue Crabs down the stretch. It's also a question of who's going to pitch in the 7th inning. Do you go to the bullpen with someone like Dykstra or Baker, or do you go back to Mitchell Lamson having thrown 115? I mean, that's another question that Stan Clyburn has to make, a decision Stan Clyburn has to make. Pitch, called strike, and the count 0-1 on Jack Sundberg. Count 0-1. Here's the pitch. On the ground, foul. And the count remains 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And they're banging the drum off to our left as Jack Sundberg digs back in from the left side. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a ground ball foul, first base side, and the count remains 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lancaster 3 and the Blue Crabs nothing. Sundberg moves his bat in a circular motion. 0-2 pitch upcoming to the lefty. Here's the pitch. Low and in, count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the Blue Crabs trailing by 3. Blue Crabs out hit 5-1. If anyone else, again, has a trivia question, post it in the YouTube chat. We'd love to hear from you all. Count 1-2 on Jack Sundberg. And the pitch. That's low. Count 2-2. Carol Hinman has commented. She says, isn't he annoying? Well, I'm not sure who the he is, but whoever the he is that Carol is referring to, please let us know. Maybe it's me. And the 2-2 pitch, swinging a high fly ball. This one up to deep right center field. Back in front of the warning track, it's Trayvon Robinson who makes the catch. And that ends the bottom of the 6th inning. The Blue Crabs bats, well, they've been really quiet tonight. They have just 1 base runner who's reached, or 2 base runners who've reached, 1 hit, 1 error. That's all the offense the Blue Crabs have produced tonight. They trail 3-0. Jack Sundberg is yet to extend his on-base streak. It stands at 34 games. Mitch Lamson will take them out for the top of the 7th when we come back.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We're back in the bottom of the 7th inning. Melvin Mercedes takes ball 1 as the first pitch from Mitch Lampson. 3-0 Lancaster in the top of the 7th. The pitch, that's away, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Appears as though it's James Dykstra who's warming up in the Blue Crabs bullpen. It's either Dykstra or Baker. It's kind of hard to tell from our current position. Looks like Dykstra's sitting on the bench, so it's got to be Baker then, who's got the tall socks going tonight. 2-0 pitch. Called strike, count 2 balls and 1 strike. We hear from Carol Hinman saying that we are in the same suite tonight. My husband and I have this suite Sunday, but we have not invited the noise. I see. Melissa A. says that she means the drums, and Melissa will also be at the game on Sunday for her mother's birthday. 2-1 pitch, that's a strike, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Melvin Mercedes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a line drive, diving stop by Crosby, throwing to first, he got it. Oh, wow, what a play. Alex Crosby dove towards second base to stop the baseball, got up and fired to first in time to get the out. Wow, that was something else. And it robs a base hit from Melvin Mercedes, and there is 1 away in the top of the 7th. As Mitch Lampson, he hasn't had that tough of an outing tonight, to be completely honest. Hasn't been that bad in some sense. You find yourself down 3, and it seems like your team's almost out of it when the pitch is low and away for ball 1 on Trayvon Robinson. You look at your starting pitcher, did he keep you in the game? And the answer is unequivocally yes, he did. You allowed 3 runs across 6 1/3 innings, and this is pitch number 122, and the show's bunt. You went around, count 1-1. I mean, could he have thrown more strikes? Yes. Did the 5th inning get away from him? Yes. But with that said, by and large, the Blue Crabs have got a pretty strong start from him. This is a quality start. Pitch, swinging a line drive, very well struck, deep left center field, back to the warning track at the wall. At 1, hops the wall. Collier picks it up and fires into the shortstop, Baca. It's a very deep blast to left center off the bat of Trayvon Robinson. And there's a runner on second with 1 out as they're about to hit the meat of the order. And Cyan Clyburn has seen enough. He makes the call to the bullpen. Have to imagine they'll be going to Patrick Baker when we come back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, we'll break it all down and give you the details of the new pitcher for the Blue Crabs. It's 3-0 Barnstormers. Well, it is Patrick Baker who enters the game for the Blue Crabs in the 7th inning with 1 out and a runner on second base. Baker 5-2, a 2.17 earned run average. Last pitch on August 30th. First pitch swinging on the ground to third. Fielded on the backhand by Crosby. A throw to first. Now a throw back to third. Did they get him? Oh, yes, they did. 5-3-5 double play. It took one pitch, and the Blue Crabs get out of the 7th inning. Not exactly the most work Baker's worked for, but he gets 2 outs on 1 pitch here in the 7th. Blue Crabs trail 3-0. Maybe that was the spark they needed to get going at the plate here in the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch in Waldorf. 3-0 Lancaster.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
At Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be Baca who gets things started for the Blue Crabs. Now ball comes in from Lancaster's bullpen. 3-0 Barnstormers tonight. The Blue Crabs offense starved for any offensive action. Blue Crabs 1 hit across 6 innings. Just 2 base runners, one via an error, the other via the single from Baca. Pitch called strike on the inside corner, count 0-1. Michael Baca hitting .219 on the season. Was 2 for 2 yesterday with a walk. Across last series, he was just 3 for 15 though. Struggled against Lancaster this season, hitting just .179. Pitch called strike, count 0-2. Blue Crabs 11-0 this season against the Barnstormers. They're going to need some late game heroics to keep that streak alive, though, as they trail 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th. 0-2 pitch, swinging a line drive, shallow right, coming in. It's the right fielder, Chris Proctor, who makes the catch. He must have been playing really shallow. Otherwise, I thought that would have dropped for a base hit. He was playing normal depth out there in right. I'm sure that would have dropped. But Proctor was right there when it was a low line drive toward right. Looked like it might fall for a bloop single. Either way, he's now 1 for 3. Baca is and there's one out in the bottom of the 7th. 3-0 Barnstormers for Braxton Lee, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Lee hitting .311 on the year. And the pitch, that's away, count 1-0. Well, we're hitting the home stretch of the season now. Final 16 games of baseball for the Blue Crabs. Last 3 at home and then 13 on the road. Another ball comes in from the bullpen, as the first pitch was away for ball 1. Well, who's ever out in the bullpen better find some control before he enters the ball game. And the 1-0 pitch. Did he go on a pitch in the dirt? No, he did not. Count 2-0. Two balls, no strikes, 1 out. Again, it's Field of Dreams night. There was quite a nice ceremony pregame to sort of honor the movie. Pitch swinging a high fly ball center field. Easily playable for the center fielder Trayvon Robinson, who moves over to right center to make the catch. And a terrific ball game from Eric Manoah continues. 6 2/3 across 97 pitches, allowed no runs on 1 hit. Let's talk a little more about the movie briefly. The players all came through the corn out in left field by the Mini Monster. And it was a really nice entrance from all the Blue Crabs players, everybody on the roster, including the Blue Crabs trainer. Lauren Eck also entered through the gates. It was the bullpen guys who were not in the starting lineup to begin with, and then they had the starters come in at the end. 1-0 pitch. The first pitch is low, count 1-0, I should say, on David Harris in the count. 1 ball and no strikes on a .327 hitter. David Harris, who's 0 for 2 tonight, though. 1-0. Swing and a miss, count 1-1. You continue to see someone like Eric Manoah just straight up dominate throughout this ball game. Wouldn't be surprised if the Blue Crabs held off on pitching Briseño until tomorrow. If Dykstra might enter in the 9th pitch, low and away. Count 2-1. With Geeky available tomorrow, it'll probably be Geeky switching spots with Baker, unless Baker comes out of the ball game now, having thrown just 1 pitch. Imagine he would be available tomorrow. If Dykstra pitches today, pitch 2-1 is in there for a called strike. Count 2-2 now. 2 outs, nobody on. 3-0 Barnstormers. The idea being, if Baker comes out now and Dykstra comes in, though Dykstra's sitting on the bullpen bench, does not appear he's ready to come in. But if he were to come in the ball game, as that pitch is low in the count 3-2. If Dykstra came in and pitched a quick inning, theoretically both he and Baker could be available. But if Baker goes ahead and pitches the 8th, I couldn't imagine he would be available tomorrow, unless it was like a 5-pitch inning. And now Harris, the offering. That one's driven foul. First base side, and the count remains 3-2. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat, as Manoah has now thrown 104. This will be number 105, and depending on what Ross Peoples wants to do, he could either keep Manoah in the ballgame. Pitch, swinging a line drive. That one drilled to left. Back to the warning track at the wall. David Harris goes deep. Well, the Blue Crabs had just 1 hit up until that point, but Harris drove that ball over the Mini Monster. And the Blue Crabs are on the board with a solo shot here in the 7th. It's a 3-1 ball game. Eric Manoah hadn't allowed a hard hit ball all night. He allows a solo shot here in the 7th, and it's a 3-1 ball game. As Crosby comes to the plate with 2 outs in the 7th. Blue Crabs down by 2 runs, and it's Crosby followed by Collier. We'll have to see what the Blue Crabs have up their sleeves. And it puts them in a very interesting spot. You're down by just 2 now. First pitch, a little bit up in the count, 1-0. Well, we talked about this back in the fourth inning. Runners on the corners, one out. We said how important a run would be for the Blue Crabs in the fourth. Well, if they score there, it's a 3-2 game, all things remaining the same as the 1-0 pitch is up and away, count 2-0. That extra run there in the fourth could have been a major difference maker, but David Harris hit a hard ground ball, looked like it was going up the middle, but instead a terrific 4-6-3 double play turned by the Barnstormers. 2-0 delivery, swinging a hard fly ball toward right field, but it goes foul toward the Kids Park. And the count, 2 balls and 1 strike now on Crosby. Two-one pitch, low and in, count 3-1 on Crosby. Now you got to worry about is Manoah struggling to find the zone at all. We've seen him behind in counts quite a bit tonight. That's why the pitch count's so high, despite the fact he's only faced 2 more than the minimum. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, rather deep to right field. This one back to the warning track in front of the wall, and what a catch out in right field by Chris Proctor, who tracked it down in the deepest part of right. You know, a lot of people say that Regency Furniture Stadium's too deep. That's a bomb and a half in Lancaster. That makes this a 3-2 ball game. Instead, it's just a lengthy fly out here at Regency Furniture Stadium, and that ends the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, that's what happens when the wall juts directly out here at the Reg in Waldorf. You get long flyouts like that on balls that should be home runs. We go to the top of the 8th. It's the Barnstormers 3. It's the Blue Crabs 1 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We go to the top of the 8th inning. Colton Shaver will come to the plate. First pitch from Patrick Baker is up and in, count 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. Colton Shaver, the cleanup hitter, comes to the plate. He'll be followed by Anderson Felice. Pitch, foul tip, and the count 1-1. Well, Baker's going to get a full inning here, and then I'd have to imagine it's probably Dykstra for the 9th to give Briseño 1 extra day to heal up and make sure he's really ready to go. He is available tonight. Was cleared about 2 days ago, and that there wasn't any discomfort, but you know, you always want to give someone a couple extra days, make sure they're really ready. And the count 1-2 now on Shaver as he taps it foul over toward the dugout. Quite a few Blue Crabs players who've been day-to-day for a while now. You can save a couple extra arms, would go a long way. 1-2 pitch. Swing on a pop-up. Shallow center. It's Yetzko onto the outfield grass. He makes the catch. There's one away.
Now batting the shortstop, number 8, Anderson Felice.
And here comes Anderson Felice. Here comes Felice, one out in the top of the 8th inning. Have to imagine that the evening's over for Eric Manoa. Pitch on the ground towards second. Fielded by Yetzko right around chest high. He fires to first, 4-3. Put out from Anderson Felice. This inning moving quickly for Patrick Baker. He's thrown just 6 pitches across an inning of work. And here comes Anderson Felice.
Now batting the designated hitter,
I think a lot of things depend on what the Blue Crabs offense might be able to do from here. After the home run from Harris, it was Crosby who ended the inning on the deep flyout. Blue Crabs would send 6, 7, 8 to the plate. Collier, DeLuca, and Walker. And the pitch called strike. Count 0-1. I mean, that's, for a lot of teams and for the Blue Crabs at times this year, that's been a 3-4-5. 0-1 pitch called strike, count 0-2, and then to see Yetzko and Sundberg follow the bottom of the lineup back to the top of the lineup. It's not bad looking order. Pitch upstairs, and the count 1-2 now on Anthony Peroni. Sundberg looks like he's only going to have one more shot, though, to try to get that on-base streak extended to 35 games. He extended it with 2 outs in the 9th yesterday, playing with fire again tonight. Pitch, check swing, did he go? Yeah, he did. Anthony Peroni went on a breaking ball in the dirt. Patrick Baker across an inning and 2/3 through just 11 pitches. As we are finished with the top of the 8th inning, I beg your pardon, just 10 pitches across an inning and a third. We go to the bottom of the 8th on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Here we go.
Well, Zach Collier will get us started in the bottom of the 8th inning. 3-1, Lancaster over Southern Maryland. First pitch to Collier is away for ball 1. as Eric Manoa returns for the Lancaster Barnstormers. And I think the idea here has to be you go back to Manoa because what Manoa brings, I beg your pardon, it's Josh Graham who enters. I thought it was Manoa. It looked an awful lot like Manoa. And the count 1-0. Pitch, swinging a line drive, hard hit, a shot fired at the bullpen. The count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Zach Collier. I thought it was Manoa staying in this ball game. It would have made some sense, but Josh Graham, who has a 1.86 ERA, enters. And the 1-1, low, count 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Two one. Swing and a foul tip, count 2-2. Now the Blue Crabs find themselves in a bit of an interesting spot here, with a 2-2 count and nobody out here in the 8th. I mean, the idea has to be get base runners, give yourself an opportunity to get back in this ball game down just 2 in the 8th. Whether it's walks, whether it's hits, it really doesn't matter. Just get guys on base and give your team a chance to get something special going. Pitch, ground ball slowly over to second. It's fielded by the second baseman, Melvin Mercedes, who flips to first in time, and there's 1 away. Well, 8th and 9th innings for the Barnstormers. Good spell trouble for the Blue Crabs. Josh Graham, that 1.89 ERA, awfully threatening for this Blue Crabs team. First pitch, hard hit off the bat of DeLuca, foul. They count 0-1. Graham has 7 saves. He's saved 7 out of 12. West Tunnel was 9 out of 10. Also has pitched in Mexico this year. Has to be the most likely option for the 9th if we see Josh Graham coming in here in the 8th, unless they're going to go back to Graham for the 9th. They'll have to see. Either way, Blue Crabs trail by 2. 7 and 8 hitters at the plate. And again, these are 2 guys who have hit 3rd and 4th in the lineup at times this year. Oh, 1 pitch to DeLuca. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. Count 1-1. Pitch was low. 7 pitches from Graham. Couple of partial swings from Joe DeLuca. Pitch, swing a high fly ball, deep right center field. Long run for Chris Proctor, who tracks it down in the alley. A couple of home runs if you're in Lancaster. One from Crosby to the warning track in right, and one deep to the alley in right center. Both of those get out of the ballpark in Lancaster. Those are 2 long flyouts here at Regency Furniture Stadium. That one was hit off the bat like a bullet. Wow, crushed. But just a long flyout to Chris Proctor. That one hit off the bat, 101 miles an hour. Crosby's one was hit off the bat at 100 miles an hour. And neither one leaves the ballpark. The launch angles are where you want them. Sometimes you just get a little unlucky. First pitch to Jared Walker. Swing and a miss. Count 0-1. It's been the way the game has gone for the Blue Crabs tonight. They trail 3-1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. I'd imagine the Blue Crabs go back to Baker, maybe to Dykstra. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, well struck, deep left center field. This one back to the warning track at the wall. That ball is off the corn in left field. The corn probably helps the Blue Crabs tonight. That one otherwise is probably caught at the wall as the left fielder, Jacob Barfield, ran into the corn and sort of lost track of how he was going to make a play on that ball. I don't think it took one back. I think that was off the corn and left center. Either way, a double for the Blue Crabs. There's a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Ian Yetzko. The Blue Crabs do not have Michael Wolanski available tonight, or at least it does not appear he is. Unless the Blue Crabs are going to go with Yetzko now and possibly pinch hit for Baca in the 9th. Wolanski was officially cleared today, did take batting practice, but I don't think he's going to be playing tonight, as his thumb was in a splint for 2 weeks. Now back and ready to go, and he's one of the most consistent hitters on this team. Here's the pitch to Yetzko. Oh, hard fastball. He swings through it. Oh, Blue Crabs 11-0 against the Barnstormers, but at a real risk of falling to 11-1. 0-1. Swinging a hard ground ball foul over to the Blue Crabs dugout, and the count 0-2. We've seen what Yetzko can do. He went deep last night, a 2-run home run in the 9th, but also at risk for strikeouts. Yetzko, a guy who's got a lot of pop in that bat, only 5 home runs, but a much smaller sample size than everybody else. Gets a hold of one, he can rocket it off the bat. Pitch. A little bit inside. Count 1-2. I think the catcher, Colton Shaver, thought that it was going to be a called strike 3, but it was not. And the pitch, swinging a ground ball over to shortstop, fielded by Felice. This should do it. The throw to first in plenty of time, and that ends the bottom of the 8th inning. Joe DeLuca hit one that probably should have left the ballpark. It did not. It was caught on the warning track. The Lancaster Barnstormers still have a 3-1 lead. Jared Walker did get a double off the wall in right center, but not enough for the Blue Crabs to get a run back. They still trail by 2 as we go to the top of the 9th.
This is Nick Wells, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come stay at the Holiday Inn Express Waldorf, where teamwork makes the dream work. A proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and your home away from home. The Holiday Inn Express is located at 11,370 Days Court. That's 11370 Days Court, Waldorf, near the Waldorf Shoppers World Shopping Center. Call 301-932-9200 to make a reservation, or look us up at ihg.com or on the IHG app. Come put your feet up and enjoy the complimentary free breakfast and indoor heated pool at the Holiday Inn Express, Waldorf.
Top of the ninth inning, it's Endres Briseño who enters the ball game. First pitch, fastball, swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. As Endres Briseño enters for the first time since recovering from that groin strain, but he looks like he's all set and ready to go as he fires 96 for a fastball and a called strike. Pitch, another fastball. He attacks Chris Proctor in the count 0-2. A couple of swings and misses from the lefty against some high heat. No balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out, 3-1 Barnstormers. The Blue Crabs want to stay in the game, and they go to Endres Briseño to do that. And the 0-2 is fouled off as Proctor was behind it. Another hard fastball, and the count remains 0-2. Proctor digs back in. All these ones right at 96 on the fastball. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. He powered a fastball by him. 4 fastballs, 4 swings, and he gets a swing and a miss there for strike 3. 1 out as they go to Jacob Barfield. Barfield followed by Lair, 8 and 9 in the lineup. Pitch, 1 hopper, 3 hopper, early over to Yetzko at second. He bobbled it, but now gets up and fires the first in time to get Barfield. Really nice recovery from Ian Yetzko after that ball was hard hit right at the second baseman. That's what they always preach, get in front of the ball. If you knock it down, you can throw to first base. That's exactly what he did there. He gets in front of the ball, sort of like as a basketball player, the footwork to get in front of your defender. It's what Michael Baca was talking a lot about in our conversation with him on the road trip to Charleston. He said, look, I play basketball every day in the winter to improve my footwork. Yetzko had his footwork down there. Ball bounced off his chest. He knocked it down and fired to first in time to get the out. Pitch, called strike on Trace Lair on the count 0-1. Ball was hit 104 off the bat. Oh, the ball was absolutely smoked right at Yetzko. 0-1 pitch. That's low and in. Count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs on Trace Lair. Count 1-1 on Lair. Briseño set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A little upstairs. The count 2-1. Yeah, that sinker has been right at 96 tonight. One you might round up to 97, but that's about it. As the count 2-1 now on Lair. It's been all fastballs all the time up until this point. 2-1. Swing and a miss at a terrific slider. They buried in the dirt. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3-1. Lancaster with nobody on here in the top of the ninth. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Trace Lair swings and misses at a high fastball, and that ends the inning. That's what you get out of Endres Briseño. 1, 2, 3 innings just like that one. He threw 9 pitches in the 1, 2, 3 inning. We'll step aside when we come back. It's time for the last licks for the Blue Crabs. The bottom of the ninth inning, they need 2.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to WilliamRichmondInc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service.
Tunnel it is. West Tunnel enters the game for the Lancaster Barnstormers in the bottom of the 9th inning. 3-1. Barnstormers over the Blue Crabs as Tunnel looks to get the save tonight. He was in Mexico earlier this year. And he has a 3.63 earned run average. First pitch from Sundberg, a line drive, and it's right at the first baseman. That's going to end his hit streak and on-base streak in all likelihood. Looked like he might have had an extra base hit, but he lined it right at Andretti Cordero. And there's one away. 34 consecutive games on base for Jack Sundberg, and it looks like we might have reached the conclusion as Michael Baca now comes to the plate. The Blue Crabs trail by 2, and Sundberg is 0 for 4 tonight as he lines out sharply to first. Would have been a nice way to start a rally here in the 9th. Not so. First pitch, swing and a miss to Michael Baca, and the count 0-1. Count 0-1 on Baca. The Blue Crabs at risk of losing their first game to the Barnstormers. Oh, 1. Low and away, count 1-1. One ball, one strike, one out. 3-1. Lancaster leads over the Blue Crabs. One pitch, low and away, and the count 2-1. Two balls, one strike, one out in the 9th inning. Here's the 2-1 from Tunnel. Slow, count 3-1. Three balls, one strike, one out on Michael Baca. Baca will be followed by Lee. At this point, it's all about getting on base. 3-1 pitch will be upcoming, but we'll have to wait for now. 3-1, Barnstormers over the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the 9th inning. One out, count 3-1 on Baca. It's a hitter's count, but you just need base runners at this point. If it's close, I'd take. Well, that's a called strike. Looked like he was taking all the way in the count 3-2. 3-2. And that is ball 4 low. Tunnel thought he might have had strike 3, but just below the knees, and Baca walks. Tying run comes to the plate for the Blue Crabs, and it's Braxton Lee. He's followed by David Harris. All of a sudden, things look to get awfully exciting here in the ninth. And West Tunnel last appeared on August 30th. Third of an inning, allowed a run, an earned run, and a 7-6 loss. Righties hit significantly better off him than lefties do, but here is the pitch now to Braxton Lee. It's up and away, count 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Lee represents the tying run. Baca only so important as he scores prior to the tying run. He doesn't run himself into an out pitch. That's a really big swing and a miss from Braxton Lee in the count 1-1. And it will be Lee followed by David Harris. Harris went deep earlier today. Does he have another one in him? We'll have to see. He stands on deck. As long as there's no double play, we'll get there. 1-1 pitch is up and in. Count 2-1 now on Braxton Lee. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. And the pitch, that's away. Count 3 balls and a strike now on Braxton Lee. Three balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Lancaster 3, the Blue Crabs 1. Baca from first, Lee at the plate, the former big leaguer, who's a terrific contact bat ahead in the count. Will West Tunnel walk back-to-back batters? Here's the 3-1. Swinging a ground ball slowly over to first. There's going to be 1 play. It's at first base, but it's Lee who's petitioning, say, no, that hit my foot. That's a foul ball. It hit off my foot. And the home plate umpire, Jim Clayton, doesn't buy it. And Lee is not happy. And now it's Stan Clyburn who's talking to Jim Clayton, the Blue Crabs manager, who says, come on, this is clearly a foul ball. And it looks like the umpires are going to convene here and have a conversation as to whether or not that ball did hit off of Braxton Lee's foot and at least give a second opinion. I think he'd need to be overruled and that both other umpires see something different than what he saw. So instead of having a 3-2 count, they're going to say it's going to stay as an out, and Braxton Lee is animated that it hit his foot. He would have run that ball out. Braxton Lee is not someone who's just going to stand there and watch a ground ball over to first and yell at the umpire. Either way, runner on second base, now 2 outs. Blue Crabs trail by 2 in the ninth for David Harris. David Harris homered back in the 7th inning. It's the only runs the Blue Crabs have produced all night. Does he have a second home run in him? West Tunnel. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball. Looked really good. Count 0-1. Count no ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. As Baca with a short lead off of second base. The drummer is drumming to our left. Here is the 0-1 from Tunnel. Breaking ball. It's not a called strike. That looked pretty darn good. Might have missed maybe a little up and away, but I thought that was in the zone. Either way, count 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, count 2-1. Yeah, from West Tunnel's point of view, it might not be the worst idea to give David Harris his base here. The problem from that comes in that if you have runners on first and second, 2 outs, you implement a double steal, you get second and third 2 outs. Crosby only needs a single to tie it. That's where the issue is, but You don't want to run into a home run here. 2-1 pitch popped up, foul territory. This one over toward the dugout, and that ball runs about 6 rows deep into the stands on the first base side, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Harris stays alive. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blue Crabs trail 3-1. At risk of losing back-to-back games. It'll be the first time the Blue Crabs would lose to the Lancaster Barnstormers. 11-0 thus far, and they're 1 strike away from going down for the first time and falling to 11-1. Tunnel set. And here is the pitch. Swinging a high pop-up foul behind home plate, right over toward us. It's going to fall right next to us. Oh, just a couple rows out. Oh, if I had been over there in that front row, I probably could have reached over and grabbed it, but that was really, really close. I'm not sure the ball can possibly angle its way over to our table here in our outdoor setup, but it might be possible. It can definitely get it in that front row. We've gotten it a couple times before. But it is exceedingly rare. Haven't got one up here yet this year. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Harris. The pitch. Inside, count 3-2. Again, we talked about the potential of a walk. Put runners on first and second with 2 outs. That would then give way to a potential double steal and put runners on second and third with 2 outs. Allow Harris to potentially score on an RBI single. Either way, 3-1 ball game right now. Here's the pitch. Swinging a line drive. He belts it to deep left center. This one back at the warning track at the wall. David Harris has tied it in the 9th. A 2-run game-tying home run with 2 outs in the 9th inning. David Harris has tied it. He went just to the right of the mini monster to left center. He silences the Lancaster dugout, and this ball game is tied at 3 with 2 outs in the 9th. Oh my goodness, what a hit. A pair of home runs from David Harris tonight, and they come in the most timely of ways. A solo shot in the 7th, a 2-run shot in the 9th. This ball game is tied at 3. And here comes Alex Crosby. We talked about West Tunnel. Does he just want to walk him? Don't want to have to deal with him. He doesn't walk him on a 3-2 pitch. He belts it out of the ballpark to tie the game at 3. Oh my. 3-3 game. And James Dykstra warms in the Blue Crabs pen. First pitch is away in the count 1-0. 1 strike away, and David Harris drills a home run over the wall in left center, over the corn in left center. He's gone deep twice tonight. Home runs number 14 and 15 from the righty. Pitch called strike on the outside corner, count 1-1. This is the Blue Crabs team we saw back in the first half. A Blue Crabs team that never gave up fighting from behind, and they've just tied it at 3 here in the bottom of the 9th. Pitch up and away, count 2-1 to Crosby. Wow. Tunnel set. Here's the 2-1. Up and away, 3-1. A game-tying home run with 2 strikes and 2 outs in the 9th inning. That's what David Harris just did. And the helicopter that will be doing a candy drop later in this ball game flies directly overhead. We may have extras in store, so he might need to circle back a little later. Pitch to Crosby, fouled off third base side, over to the Legends Club and onto the concourse. Oh, this crowd as excited as ever. The drummer, oh, he's going at it right now. It's about as exciting of a game as we've seen probably since Raul Shaw pinch hit with a 3-run shot in the bottom of the 9th to tie it against the Ducks. Blue Crabs lost this game. They're not looking to do the same thing tonight. Pitch, ground ball over to second. This should do it. Melvin Mercedes tosses to first, and that ends the bottom of the ninth inning, but not before the Blue Crabs have tied the score at 3. David Harris, a 2-run shot, and we go to the top of the 10th on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, the Blue Crabs have new life. A 2-run home run off the bat of David Harris in the bottom of the ninth inning ties the score at 3. We go to extras tonight. And the first pitch from James Dykstra, a big wave and a miss from Melvin Mercedes, and the count 0-1. Mercedes, Robinson, and Cordero will face Dykstra here in the top of the 10th. 3-3 ball game as David Harris has totally changed it. 0-1 pitch, bunted foul from Melvin Mercedes. Of course, they start with the runner on second base. It's Trace Lair, who was the final out in the ninth. Comes courtesy of Endris Briseño, who had a terrific performance. 2 strikeouts, did allow a very hard hit ground out. But if that's all you're complaining about, well, it shows that pitched pretty well. It was pretty typical Briseño. 96 on the fastball. The slider was working for him. 0-2 pitch. Swinging a foul tip back behind home plate. So far, Dykstra's been good. He's actually 0-1, but he has not allowed an earned run. He lost against Charleston, or picked up a loss in extra innings, having allowed a run back in game 1 of that series. And here is the pitch now. Swing and a miss, strike 3, the 0-2 pitch. Melvin Mercedes sprints over to third. Oh no, he called him safe and off the bag. Oh no, I think Walker kept his foot on the bag, the strikeout, and he's called safe at first base. And now they're going to pause and look back at it. Very close play. I think Walker kept his foot on the bag. Was very, very close. Either way, the call right now is safe for Melvin Mercedes at first base. Trace Laird has not moved from second to third. The throw from DeLuca was slightly offline. The question, are the runners on first and second, or is there a runner on second with one out? Dykstra earned the strikeout as he buried a breaking ball that Mercedes swung and missed at. The call's safe after the umpires convened. Very, very close play. I thought Walker kept his foot on the bag right as he made the catch, but there's not much protest from Walker right now. Well, it's runners on first and second and no outs. There's not much you can do about it at this point as James Dykstra picks up the strikeout, but throwing error called against Joe DeLuca has pulled Walker off the bag, and, well, that's what you get sometimes. Runners on first and second now with nobody out. Strikeout is moot. Pitch, ground ball back to the mound. Dykstra has trouble with it. He's got one play at first. He overthrows. Now the runner's coming to the plate. Yetzko throws home. That gets by DeLuca. Another run's probably going to come home and score. It does. Oh, my. Error after error after error, and Lancaster picks up 2 here in the top of the 10th. Oh, my. What a conundrum this has become. Errors and errors and errors some more. It might have been 2 errors on that play alone. 3 errors in the last 2, and Lancaster has a 5-3 lead. None of these are going to go as earned, but James Dykstra has put himself in a lot of trouble. A 96-mile-per-hour fastball bunted back to the mound. He fired to first after bobbling it. Throw was wide. Walker couldn't make the play. It was Yetzko, I believe, who was backing up. By the time Yetzko got there, well, and threw to the plate, there was no way it was going to be a realistic play, and 2 runs came home and scored. Well, this is the ball game we've got right now. It's 5-3. Pitches up and in, count 1-0, and it's sort of a similar storyline to what we saw last time out. So let's see what the errors are going to go down as. I'd imagine you see 2 errors on that play alone. Pitch, that's low in the dirt, count 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, nobody out. Or 2 balls and no strikes, I should say. Well, all the excitement that came in the 9th inning has been quickly put out. 2-0 pitch. On the ground over to second, a high hit chopper fielded by Yetzko. Tough throw to first, it's in time, and there's 1 away. Well, you can just count the errors. Let's take a look at what that last play said. Trayvon Robinson reaches on a throwing error from James Dykstra. Trace Laird scores. Melvin Mercedes scores on a throwing error by second baseman Ian Yetzko. So a pair of errors on that play. I don't know if there should have been an error on Yetzko on that play in particular. It was a hard throw. He tried to fire to the plate. I think there, in some scenario, he probably doesn't even bother firing into the plate because I think it was late. It was very, very close. Had to rush the throw, certainly. Pitch now to Shaver, called strike, count 0-1. (5-3) Barnstormers. That's the situation right now at Regency Furniture Stadium in the 10th inning. Here's the pitch. Popped up foul behind home plate. Count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. The Barnstormers have a 5-3 lead over the Blue Crabs. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Colton Shaver digs back in from the right side. Here's the pitch from Dykstra. Swing and a miss, strike 3, breaking ball gets another situation for Dykstra where I'm sure that both these runs will end up going down as unearned, but I mean, 1 run is automatically unearned. The runner from second cannot be an earned run, but those are usually not calculated until after the inning. He has allowed, well, let's just get this straight. He has not allowed a hit or a walk yet. He's allowed one runner to reach via an error. He's allowed another runner to reach via an error. He's had 2 batters reach, both come via errors. So he's got no earned runs, that's for sure. He's not responsible for any of the runners on base. And the pitch, swinging a high pop-up foul. Left field side, this one is going to find its way toward the seats. And the count 0-1. Anderson Felice, the batter, with 2 outs in the top of the 10th inning. All the wind has come out of the sails for the Blue Crabs after all of a sudden pulling even. They will get a runner on second base to start things in the bottom of the 10th, as the Blue Crabs will send 6, 7, 8 to the plate. Collier, he'll be followed by DeLuca and Walker, with Crosby on second. Blue Crabs need 2 now, not just 1, so no reason to push Crosby once they get on base if they can get out of this one. 0-1 pitch, ground ball to first. Walker's got it. He'll step on the bag himself, and that ends the inning, but not before Lancaster scores 2 runs on 2 errors. And there are 3 errors, really, and there is 1 man left on base. The Blue Crabs now trail 5-3 in the middle of the 10th.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
At Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 10th inning. Blue Crabs trail 5-3 against the Lancaster Barnstormers. Alex Crosby starts on second base. Zach Collier will come to the plate. Crosby at second. Here comes Collier. And the pitch is upstairs. Count 1-0. Count 1 ball, no strikes on the lefty. 1-0 pitch, that's low. Count 2-0. Two balls, no strikes, no outs. The new pitcher, Cam Booser, and he is a 7.71 ERA from Cam Booser. And the pitch, swing and a miss, count 2-1. Last thing you want to do is get yourself into an out here in a critical spot. If he's going to walk you, let him walk you. I mean, you put the tying run on base with nobody out in the bottom of the 10th inning. All the better for Southern Maryland. And the first pitch, or the 2-1 pitch, I should say. It's a called strike on a pitch that looked low and away, but it's a called strike nonetheless in the count, now 2-2. 95 on the fastball from Boozer. Two balls, two strikes, nobody out. 2-run lead for Lancaster in the bottom of the 10th inning as Crosby with a short lead. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball. He buries it low and away, and there is one out. Well, here comes Joe DeLuca. Blue Crabs find themselves in a world of trouble right now.
Now batting, the catcher, number 10.
It's Joe DeLuca who will bat from the right side against the lefty. Here in the 10th. Boozer has an opponent batting average of .320 against righties, .333 against lefties. Hasn't gone very well for either side of the plate. And the pitch is away, and the count 1-0 on Joe DeLuca. For DeLuca, on the other hand, the numbers are much better against lefties than they are against righties. When Joe DeLuca bats from the left side, from the right side of the plate, he hits .350 compared to when he hits against righties. DeLuca just .253, so almost 100 points better. Swinging a line drive, he hit that ball hard over to the Blue Crabs bullpen. Count 1-1. Blue Crabs need base runners right now. That's what they need. Trying to move that tying run along. I mean, DeLuca represents the tying run, and as will Walker, barring some bizarre double play here in the 10th. You want to be cautious with that runner on second base. 1-1 pitch, popped it up in the infield. It's the second baseman, and he gives way to the first baseman. That's Andretti Cordero who makes the catch just overhead, and there are two away here in the 10th for Jared Walker. 2 outs in the 10th. Cam Boozer might have just been the answer tonight. Again, 6, 7, and 8 in the Blue Crabs lineup who've been very quiet. And the first pitch from the lefty, Cam Boozer, swing and a miss. Count 0-1. Count 0-1, runner on second base. It's Alex Crosby. Oh-1 delivery, line drive foul, third base side. And the count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blue Crabs trail by 2. Runner on second base in the bottom of the 10th. If Walker can get on, Yetzko would follow. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ends the ball game. The Blue Crabs lose 5-3 to the Lancaster Barnstormers. Southern Maryland loses tonight. They fall to 11-1 against the Barnstormers on the season, 5 games back of the divisional lead. And not only that, the 34-game on-base streak from Jack Sundberg comes to a close. He was playing with fire last night. He didn't have his streak extend until 2 outs in the 9th inning, and then tonight it does come to a close. There were some late-game theatrics. David Harris hit a 2-run home run, but they fall short. Let's run through the box score. Sundberg 0 for 4 tonight. Baca 1 for 3 with a run scored. He also walked. Braxton Lee 0 for 4 tonight. David Harris was 2 for 3 with 2 home runs. He drove in 3 RBIs. Crosby 0 for 4. Collier 0 for 4. DeLuca 0 for 4. Walker was 1 for 3. And Yetzko 0 for 3 tonight. The Blue Crabs as a team just 4 for 33 tonight. They struck out 6 times. How was the pitching tonight? Well, for the most part, it was actually pretty good. Lamson, 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Baker went an inning and 2/3. Briseño went an inning. And none of them allowed a hit or a walk. Neither did Dykstra, but Dykstra's going to get the loss again tonight. Went an inning of work, allowed 2 unearned runs, did not walk a batter, did not allow a hit, and he struck out 2 along the way. All started after a strikeout when Joe DeLuca's throw was a little bit too in foul territory down the first base side. Walker's foot might have come off the bag a split second early. It's tough to tell. There are runners on first and second, and from there, well, then that's when things sort of went a little bit awry. Runners were on first and second with nobody out. A bunt back to the mound and some trouble playing it from Dykstra. He threw the ball away to first base. I mean, all of these things happen very differently if there's 1 out in the inning. You're not bunting the guy over, so everything changes on that 1 play over at first base. There's an error. There are 2 errors. Scores 2 runs. And that was about all it took. And from there on, it was the Barnstormers who ran the table. 2 strikeouts from Dykstra. It's not enough as the Blue Crabs fall 5-3 tonight. Scoring plays in this ball game. We'll run through those briefly. It's Trayvon Robinson who singled in the 5th. It was Colton Shaver's sacrifice fly. Anderson Felice singled to center field to give Lancaster a 3-0 lead. In the 7th, a solo home run from Harris. In the 9th, a 2-run home run from Harris. Tied the game at 3, but in the 10th inning, a host of errors. 3 errors in the inning that scored a pair of runs for the Barnstormers and the Blue Crabs' 5-3 loss. Well, that does it from us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Have a terrific night, everybody. We'll be back with you tomorrow night at 6:35 p.m. We say so long from Waldorf, Maryland. Have a terrific evening. They finish, as always, with Let's Go Blue Crabs.